Let's talk about a hidden force, a weird little quirk in our brains that quietly shapes almost everything we like, from the music we listen to the people we trust. It's working on all of us every single day, right under the surface.
You know the feeling, right? A new song comes on, you've never heard it before, and your first thought isn't exactly, wow, this is amazing.
A lot of the time, it's just meh. See, our brains are wired for efficiency, and processing something totally new takes effort. And that little bit of mental work can feel like anything from, just indifference to, turn this off.
But then a funny thing happens. You hear it again, and then again. It's in the background at a coffee shop, it pops up on a playlist, and your brain starts to recognize the patterns. It gets easier to process, and that feeling of ease, well, it actually starts to feel kind of good. Suddenly it's stuck in your head.
And before you know it, what happens? You're actually turning the volume up. You're singing along. You're adding it to your favorites. The song you didn't even care about is now a go-to. So, what changed? Well, nothing about the song changed. You were just exposed to it a lot. This whole process, it isn't random. It's not a coincidence. It's actually a super predictable feature of how our minds work. And yup, it has a name. It's called the mere exposure effect, and the definition is pretty much right there in the name. We tend to like things more simply because we're familiar with them. You can even think about it from an evolutionary perspective, right? Familiar things were usually safe things. The berries you saw every day were probably okay to eat. That weird new mushroom? Maybe not so much.
This quote just nails it. It boils the whole idea down to its simplest form. That old, ancient instinct is still humming away in our modern brains. Repetition makes things feel safe, it makes them feel better, and ultimately, it makes us like them.
Okay, so that's the what. But what about the how? How does this actually play out inside our heads? Let's get into the mechanics.
And the great news is, this isn't some ridiculously complex brain science. It really just comes down to a super simple two-step process. It all starts with step 1, repeated exposure. You see a face, you hear a sound, you see a logo, over and over and over. That leads right to step 2, preference formation. What's happening is your brain gets faster at processing that familiar thing. It's what scientists call cognitive fluency, and that ease of processing literally feels good, creating a positive vibe around it.
This lays out that internal shift perfectly. Before, when something's unfamiliar, your brain has to work a little harder, which can feel neutral or even a little negative. But after a bunch of exposure, that same thing becomes familiar. Your brain processes it with almost no effort, and it interprets that ease as something positive. And that leads directly to you liking it.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because this isn't just about songs. Once you start looking for this effect, you will see it absolutely everywhere, pulling the strings of your decisions in ways you probably never noticed. I mean, just think about it. Why do you reach for one brand of soda over another? Advertisers spend billions just to make their logo familiar. Why do some political slogans just stick? Because you've heard them 1,000 times. It even applies to our friends. We naturally grow to like the people we see most often.
And the data on this is so clear. Study after study shows this direct link. The more you expose someone to something, the more they tend to like it. Now, of course, there's a limit. It's called the wear-out effect. If you hear a song 1,000 times in a single day, you're probably going to hate it. But within a normal range of repetition, the connection is incredibly strong.
So when you put all this together, the examples, the science, what is the big idea here? What's the one thing you really need to take away from this? The crucial point is this. We all love to think that we're in total control of our tastes, that we choose what we like based on pure quality. But the mere exposure effect shows us that, a lot of the time, our preferences are really just a side effect. They're a consequence of whatever we've seen or heard the most.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to ask yourself. Next time you think about your favorite brand or your favorite song, take a second. Is it truly the best one out there? Or is it just the one you know the best?